Hello, my name's Tony Ingraham, and in a gorge now in Buttermilk Falls State Park. And one of the interesting things you see along the gorge is how plants, particularly trees, adapt themselves to living in this environment. Now we know some things about a gorge. It's deep, shady, usually cooler than other places. The sides of the gorge are steep, and there's not a lot of soil in them. Often it's cliff and rocky. And if you're going to live here as a tree, for instance, you got to find a way to survive all those different things. And one of the biggest challenges is just keeping your foothold on the, or root hold, I should say, on the sides of the gorge. So only trees and shrubs that are able to grow on steep slopes and to adapt to changes that happen to them, things that happen on a steep slope, are able to survive here. For instance, hemlock trees, the evergreen that's most common in our gorges, can live in deep, shady conditions, but it also can live in steep conditions, steep slopes, cliffs even. As we'll see as you look at some of the images that I've got to share with you that I've taken in the gorge here, trees often have curved bases. Now, how in the world does that happen? How do you get a curved bottom of the trunk of the tree? Well, let's say a small hemlock, when it's just a little seedling or sapling is growing up and it's on the side of the gorge and we have a lot of rain, for instance, it causes the soil to slip and the tree topples a little off of vertical and starts to lean. Well, if that tree survives that experience, it's going to continue to grow up away from gravity and towards the light. And what happens is that it will build in a curve at the base of the tree when it's very young. And even when the tree is very old, it maintains that curve, that funny curve. And people often wonder when they walk up through our gorges, why are these trees all bent at their base like this? And that's because they have fallen over, or almost fallen over when they were young, and then compensated for it by growing up, curving up towards the light and away from the gravity. Some other trees besides hemlocks do this as well. The yellow birch tree. Now, most people think of birch trees as the white birch, but the yellow birch is actually more common in the Finger Lakes region, and it particularly likes growing in gorges because of the cool environment and can survive the shade to some degree, not as well perhaps as the hemlock, but also it has this root system that can grow out over the sides of the cliff. The hemlocks and the yellow birch share this ability to grow around things, to grow over the edges of ledges and around cliffs and other obstacles. Now, the other thing is they don't need a deep root system. They spread out over the surface. And if they needed to go deep down into the earth, say to get water or something like that, like some other species of trees, they just wouldn't even have a chance here. So they have a shallow root system that's able to grow over unusual surfaces and keep the tree hanging on to the edge of the cliff. And you can see some of the images there are amazing ways the roots are grown around the whatever it was they had to grow on to hang on to in order to get a firm footing, which many of them have for a very long time. Some other trees do this as well. Sugar maples can do it, and a number of others, but not too many species down here because you have all of those requirements of living on a steep slope. But particularly the hemlock and the yellow birch is what we find in our gorges. So that's why trees have their curved bottoms.